What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades. Today we are talking about a blade and its assorted parts. What we've got here on the tabletop exploded out for you is the Civivi Synergy 3. I've been carrying this for a couple of weeks to get ready for the in-depth review. I wanted you guys to be able to take a look at the inside of it before I drop the in-depth so you'd know some of the things I was talking about in the review. And I've got to test my new camera. After over 300 videos, over 1.2 million views, 6,000 subscribers on Baz on Blades, my original cell phone finally died, and I had to get a new phone. So we've got something much newer, much fancier, much more refined as far as video goes. We're going to work on this, see what we can do with it until we get the computer set up and do independent video we can edit. And you guys drop down, please, to the comment section and let me know what you think of the video and audio quality, the light level, anything about the video. We'll have to do this one without an intro, as I have not transferred that stuff over from my old phone, as I do not have Wi-Fi here at the house. I have to wait until I go into work tomorrow night. Let's go ahead and get into the Civivi Synergy 3. Of course, this is one of the Damascus versions, and all right, focus now. There we go. And we do have the carbon fiber G10 laminate handles that are very attractive and thankfully seem to be showing up pretty decent here on my camera. They are solid slabs. The lock side does have a full liner that is recessed and flush. Very well done, as always, from Civivi knives. We will look at the assembly disassembly when we put this thing back together, as I wanted to save a little bit of time with this video and not have it to be a full half hour long. Here we go. Come on, focus now. There we go. Gonna have to work on that. So the other side scale here, the show side, is not lined. It has a metal insert around the pivot for the bearings to ride on to house the stop pin and the pivot pin as well. I can tell you right now, this material, this laminate, is extremely stiff. It is very, very rigid. And this knife does not suffer in any way on structural rigidity for not having a full liner over here. This was an absolutely awesome decision by Civivi, realizing they had all that structural rigidity they needed for a flipper folder already in the material and omitting the weight of the liner on that side. The blade is cupped to receive the bearings, so your cupped side of your bearings is going to go down into that recess on the blade. You can see one of the added touches here in the production is there was a resistant used on the path of the detent, and that is to keep the blade from etching when they etch the Damascus, and this is deeply texturally etched Damascus. It has not only the appearance but the feel also very well done on that. Good decision for that. You can see that gives you a smooth pathway for the detent. Also, there is a cut here, a ramp cut for the detent ball to ramp up to the flat of the blade tang, instead of this rolling around and just the edge hitting the detent, making for the bump you feel on some knives. For a flipper folder, a fidgety sort of knife, this is a great addition to refine the feel of that knife. Civivi has done an excellent job on this knife. Everything is cleanly machined, cleanly finished, cleanly ground. As far as the blade goes, again, the handle scale material is quality. The machining on it is quality, no issues there. Of course, it is texturally machined in this concentric pattern, starting with the pivot. It's a radial pattern. Just everything about the knife is super well done. We're not going to talk too much about it. Just wanted to give you guys a look on the inside. Now we're going to oil it. We're going to put it back together, and we'll close this out. We don't want to put too much oil on a knife. Oil tends to reproduce, in my opinion, and I don't care too much for that. So I just go around and put about 3 drops of oil around that. Seat it down here. We are going to take and be sure to lubricate, if I've got that in frame, lubricate with a single drop of oil our detent ball. And that will make this knife much smoother. It's amazing that people do not know. You should know, if you did not know, the detent ball in these knives should be lubricated, and 1 drop of lubricant will do. You do not want the whole inside of your knife filled up with oil. That's not a very pleasant knife carrying. You don't want a wet knife in your pocket. I mean, first of all, you don't want it to be wet in your pocket, and you do not want it to pick up lint, which excess oil on the inside will. So, putting this back together, I didn't really talk about it, but we got it here on video. There's only 3 screws. One is the pivot, it is T8. One is this body screw, which is also T8. And then you have a T6 pocket clip screw. There are 2 pocket clip screws. Only one needs to be removed. It is the back screw, and it is longer than the front screw, which only screws into the liner on that side, whereas the back screw screws through to the dual threaded inserts. I don't know what they're called, barrel inserts, I don't know. With your T6, please do not go yanking all on it all at once. Tighten it down incrementally, and it will treat you much better. Let's see if we've got that tightened down. Why, damn. All I had to do is just barely snug that down, and it is right in the zone, right in the danger zone. Centering is good. I can't tell if the centering is perfect on this example or it's just really good. Either way, who cares? It's right down the middle, basically. And this knife is smooth. It doesn't have a real heavy blade, and it does have a little bit of lock bar tension on it on that detent, so it's not going to be super drop shutty against the detent. Now, once you remove the detent pressure, it drops instantly. I mean, it's free falling on the bearings. I mean, you can see. But with that liner against it, with the detent pushing on it, that just gives enough resistance to overcome the blade weight. So it needs a little bit of a shake. But I can tell you right now, I hope we are getting this good on this. I'm not real super duper happy with that autofocus. We're going to have to work on that. But I hope we're getting very good detail on this. I hope I have enough light on it. I am having to throw much more light with this camera setup, and I'm really liking that. It is I always had a problem. I couldn't throw a lot of light on with my old phone, so I didn't get the pop from carbon fiber as much as I wanted to. But this material looks really, really good. I love this layered material. Not only is it extremely rigid, an extremely rigid foundational piece for this folder, but when you machine it, it's a lot like machining wood. When you cut it radially like this, it reveals the layers, and then they did this concentric radial pattern here for texture, and it's pretty deep. Let's see if we can see. I can show you guys how deep that is against the my hand there. I think you can see that texture. It's a pretty deep I mean, it's a texture. It's not there just for looks. It is most definitely there for texture. Yeah, yeah, good job by Civivi. We'll talk about a little bit more in depth. We're going to get out of this at right over 10 minutes. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch one of my videos. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.